Hi guys, I'm Garitas3us, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some extremely attacking 5-2-2-1 custom tactics to help you guys get back in the winning column when it's just not going your way. I did a poll on the channel and you guys asked to see the 3-4-2-1, and I've been playing around with that formation for some time and I still can't get it working good enough, and this formation is formatted extremely similar, except instead of having a left mid and a right mid, you've got a wing back and a right wing back. So it's extremely similar in its shape. It's just on paper slightly more defensive. However, the way I can get this formation working in game is above and beyond any 3-4-2-1 setup I've tried to put together myself as well. 3-4-2-1 is extremely reliant on German crosses. This formation you can play fast, you can play slow, and you can really get a lot of numbers forward without that compromise at the back. A little bit like a 5-4-1, except this does have a lot more attacking prowess. This is definitely a formation to just absolutely throw the kitchen sink at the opponent, but doing it in a way where you're not just leaving yourself super open all of the time. Getting into the custom tactics, starting with the defensive style. Now, you can leave this unbalanced, or you can have this on press after possession loss. This is the first time I've used this where I found it actually was successful with a formation. My best advice would be, if you're playing someone that you can really tell you're a lot better than, and for whatever reason you just can't get through, put this on. However, if you are playing someone that you can see is really giving you a good game, leave it unbalanced. I feel like the better the player you're playing, the more inclined you should be to leave this unbalanced. This only tends to work against lower skilled players in my experience. Defensive width, we're going to run this on 30. I like 35 for a 4-back, 30 with a 5-back kind of gives you the same width in your defence, but you've got the extra man in there, so it's really, really hard to break down. This is very attacking in its nature, this formation, the way I've got it set up. However, just having that 30 width ensures that with whoever you have got back, they are still quite compact and not leaving any gaps through the middle. Depth, now this is very high for a 5-back kind of setup. You generally see this a lot lower, but 72 depth, we're going to be playing very aggressive with this formation, so we want those automatic offside traps. We don't want to get pinned back into our own box. Build-up play, just leave this unbalanced. I did actually try fast build-up, but didn't really feel like it added anything, so just leave this balanced. Chance creation, direct passing. Again, I actually tried forward runs this week, and it's got something to it, but it's still not got the same effectiveness as direct passing, so just leave this as it is. For your width, put this on 40. I found that with around like the 50 mark, they're just a little bit too spread out. It's not always easy to get the passes moving fast, and I like to try and play as authentic as possible, like keep that ball moving. 40 width enables you to do this a lot more effectively. Players in the box, we're going to have this on 6. This is, like I say, a more offensive tactic. We're going to have people bombing forward. We want more players up, so we're going to up this from the 5 to 6. Corners and free kicks, go with whatever your personal preference is, whatever your tactic is. I personally like 1 at the moment, so that's what I'm running with. On into the player instructions. Now, I've played around a lot with these to get this working right, so I can promise you this setup is pretty much as good as you're going to get it for this formation. Like I say, I've really played around with this one a lot. So we'll start with the striker in this one. So we're going to have them on stay central and get in behind. I do say this a lot, but I do think it's very important that when you've got one striker, the getting behind instruction is very necessary just to occupy those centre-backs. It's handy to really have someone always pushing on them, always threatening, not only with just runs in behind, which is obviously the first main reason to have this instruction, but also even when you're working in from the wings, just having them right on that defensive line, always ready to go. It just gives the defenders something to think about. The stay central instruction is just to ensure they're always in the central positions. You don't want them drifting out wide. We've got lots of width naturally with this formation, and it just means they're always there in the middle to receive the ball as well from the wingers. On into the wingers, you're going to have both of those on cut inside and get into the box for cross. The cut inside instruction definitely gives this formation more of that 3-4-2-1 shape, because those wingers come more inside, closer to the striker, and then those wing backs, when they bomb forward, kind of become those wide mids. So the cut inside instruction 1 enables that wide space to be occupied by your wing backs, but also they're just naturally close to your striker, and it's just easier for the interplay as well. For those of you that like your mechanic abusing with things like Travellas, the cut inside instruction just naturally gets them in kind of the right position on the edge of the box as well, I've found. With the balanced instruction on the chance creation, you just generally find them in a little bit too wide of a position. For your centre mids, they are both going to be on stay back while attacking and cover centre. I tried balanced, but with the way we've got the wing back set up, which we'll get to in a moment, just having these unbalanced as well was just, it was a bit too much and you're just left too exposed. So have both of these on stay back. We will get the numbers forward through the other positions. The cover centre instruction just means they're always in the middle of the park, and having them on stay back just ensures they are your anchors in the midfield. They're breaking up the midfield play and they're always sat back just enough to always be a passing option as well. Now into the main event, the wing backs, the stars of the show. So your wing backs are just going to be on join the attack. So you can go with overlap. That is an option. I'm not really opposed to that if that's something you do particularly like. I just found in this formation that when you have them on the run type is just mixed, if your winger is just naturally in a position that's wider, the wing back will commit into a more central position and occupy that space. And then if your winger is more central, then the wing back will do the overlap. So the mixed attack kind of just makes them commit in a way that makes sense. You don't have two people occupying the same space. For the attacking runs, you'll often see people have these unbalanced. Because this is more aggressive, we're going to put them on join the attack. With join the attack, the moment you turn over that possession, those wing backs just go bang. They absolutely bomb forward. And if you can use that interplay down that byline, linking in that wing back, it's so difficult for the opponent to defend because you're getting so many numbers up so fast, particularly in those wide areas. And what you find is you've got your wing back and your winger isolating their wing back, so it ends up 2-on-1, and that's how you find yourself getting in behind, often through the wide areas in this formation. It works very much the same as a 3-4-2-1. It just works better than I can get a 3-4-2-1 to work in my experience. This just seems to work absolutely perfectly. They're always in the right positions. They're bombing forward extremely aggressively. I think because they're naturally wing backs as well, they just naturally recover better. Like their recovery runs to get back into the defensive positions just seems to be better than it is having a left mid and right mid with a comeback instruction. At least that's how it has been in my experience anyway. For your centre backs, just leave these on the default, which is stay back while attacking. No need to touch anything here. For the goalkeeper, I'll just leave this unbalanced. I have actually tried the comes for crosses sweeper keeper now, and I can confirm I hate it. So if you like that and it works for you, by all means go for it. But for me, I just leave this unbalanced. Next, we'll move into the sort of players that are best to use to get the most out of the formation, starting with the striker. Really, in this formation, so long as they've got a great attacking AI and a great ability to finish, you pretty much can't go wrong. For me, I normally really favour like skill moves and weak foot, and weak foot is still of value in this formation, but to be honest, most of the time your striker is going to be in a position to just take a touch and shoot, which is why I'm using Haaland for this setup, because he's great at that. You don't have to do too much on the ball with your striker in this formation. They're great finishing, great AI, and as always, just pace helps as well. For your wingers, I would recommend no more than 89 shot power, the outside of the foot shot trait, and a left foot on the left, right foot on the right, just because with that cut inside instruction, you're going to be in the position to hit Travellas so often that it's too good to not do them in this setup. The other thing is just kind of a typical winger, really. You just want them to have really good ability to maneuver on the ball, because they're often going to be in spaces where they are taking on defenders, going around the goalkeeper, you know, whatever it might be, they need ability on the ball. So just good agility, balance, dribbling, and at least 4-star skill moves. For your centre midfielders, you do have a few options here. You can go for the big physical destroyer like the central defensive midfielders. You can go for box to box, which is what I've got here in Park Ji-sung and Zinchenko, so like both of them on high work rates. You can go for one of one, one of the other. You can even go for like one dedicated DM and then the other one, like even like a Havertz would work still as kind of like a centre mid, as long as he's paired with someone more defensively capable, because he does have that like size. But my best recommendation with how it's worked best for me, I'd recommend just two players that are high work rates, just so they can kind of cover all grounds. But it's definitely not to a disadvantage to have one of them as a DM and one of them as a box to box. In terms of the attributes and the players though, just very good stamina, very good pace, and just good defensive stats. Into the wing backs. Now, of course, these are very important for how this formation works. So you want them to have great pace, high work rates is preferable. You want them to have good defending. Well, to be honest, you want them to be good at everything. When you look at the face card stats, you don't really want to see a low stat. You want them to have good pace dribbling, shooting, defending, passing, and physicals. To be honest, you don't really want them to be weak anywhere. However, don't skimp on the shooting, because often on that overlap, you do get in on goal with them. You don't want them to be fluffing those chances that you create just because they can't shoot. So make sure they do have shooting ability. That is something I know some people might overlook. So, for example, someone like Kyle Walker is a really meta wingback, but he can't shoot. So go with wingbacks that still have that shooting capability. As for like skill moves and weak foot, the more the merrier, but in all honesty, it isn't too important. Just make sure your left wing back is left footed and your right wing back is right footed for the exact same reason as the wingers. They're generally going to be shooting or crossing or passing on that stronger foot. For your centre backs, it's the good old fast, strong, lengthy, as high calibre as possible. Because this is my second account, I've only had it about a week and a half. Like, I haven't got the cream of the crop here at the back. So someone like Danilo isn't ideal. Casemiro and Bonucci have been very good, but like, you want to aim for like as good as possible at the back. You know, your Lucios, your Team of the Year Van Dijks, that new Delict card, you know, anyone that is just as high rated, fast, and just meta as possible really at the back. But lengthy is very important, especially for a 5-back where you're committing the wing backs, because you're going to be leaving spaces, so you need them to be able to cover those long distances pretty much as good as anybody. As for your goalkeeper, literally whoever works. I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. The main thing to bear in mind with this is that it's mainly for those moments where you're playing champs and you're like, you've dropped a game or two to players you know you shouldn't, and then you start on that landslide where you just keep losing to really average players, and it's really frustrating. So when that's happening, just switch to this and you'll override those players that you should be beating. It's really, really effective for getting the better of the people that you just should beat. If you guys have any formations you want me to check out or that you want custom tactics for, just let me know what they are down below. If you're looking for other custom tactics or maybe another formation to this one, then I'll link my custom tactics playlist in the description for you guys to check out. There's plenty of different formations in there. If you did make it this far in the video, guys, as always, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.